Mr. Kshitij Patel is BCom, LLB, FCA.
Hello everyone, welcome back after the tea break. I hope you all are refreshed for our very next session. The topic is very exciting and emerging. The topic is opportunities in KPO, VPO and challenges in its operations. So I request CA Nishit Shah to come forward and escort our speaker, CA Kshitij Patel, to this dais. Sir, please. I request CA Nishit Shah to welcome our speaker with a bouquet of flowers. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Kshitij Patel is BCom, LLB, FCA, FCPA. Is practicing as Chartered Accountant since 1992. Is partner of the firm Manubhai and Shah LLP since 1992 and co-managing partner since the year 2010. Mr. Kshitij Patel has vast experience in implementing knowledge and IT-enabled outsourcing projects and related systems for clients in India and abroad. He is advisor to various companies in USA, UK and Australia in respect of establishing their knowledge and IT-enabled outsourcing operations in India. With his abundant knowledge, he is into KPO activities in the area of accounting, management, information, systems and taxation for clients in USA, UK, Australia, Singapore, New Zealand, Hong Kong, Dubai, Istanbul, Kenya since the year 2001. A member of the Executive Committee of the Chartered Accountant Association for the year 1998, 99, 2004, 2005, 2006, 2007, 2008, 2009, 2021, 2022 and 23-24. Also a member of various committees formed by the Chartered Accountants Association. Chairman of the Information Technology Committee of the Ahmedabad branch of the Institute of Chartered Accountant of India for the year 1998-99 and a member of the committee of the year 2002-2003. Co-opted member of the Auditing and Assurance Standard Boards of ICAI for the year 2020 and 21. Mr. Kshitij Patel, the global icon, has delivered talks on the subject of knowledge process outsourcing, Indian perspective at London, UK, New York and San Diego, USA and Perth in Australia, presenting you the person who shares knowledge across globe as he believes in opportunities does not come to you but you need to hunt it. Mr. Kshitij Patel.
Big round of applause. Very great introduction, sir. Opportunities do not come to us, we need to approach them. I am very glad to have this opportunity to welcome you. Sir, please come on to the dais, we can start the session.
afternoon, friends. After the session on GST, I believe we need to talk something different. From tax to GST, and now something which I have been doing over the past 22 years. So I take this opportunity to sincerely thank the Professional Development Committee of the Institute as well as the VAPI branch for asking me to present my views on my favorite topic, opportunities in KPO and challenges in its operations and how we can expand our services. So, as you know, in the paper book, I think you have the whole agenda with you. So let us start with the agenda, because this being the last session, and all of you would definitely like to go home early on a Sunday afternoon. So just let us talk on the scenario at present when we talk about the existing work, what we have been doing over the years. And ultimately, if you look at it over the years, we have been doing statute-based practice. And that statute-based practice includes, I think I have skipped one slide, audit assurance under the Companies Act, the Income Tax Act, the Banking Regulation Act, VAT Act, and BFCs, and other works like representation for direct and indirect taxes, project finance, valuations, mergers, acquisitions, concurrent audits, and accounting services. This scenario is changing, as you know. Last year, the limits for tax audit has changed. The GST audit has gone away. So, more and more, I think the MCA is thinking on changing the limits for the statutory audit of companies. So, more and more areas will be needed and would be have to be looked upon by us when we think about the areas of practice. So, what has hampered the growth in us as professionals? Limit on expansion of practice due to geographical boundaries, limitation on account of slow industrial growth, traditional thinking, protection from statutes. This is very important because we are all dependent on the statutes for our work. Even as far as the bank audit is concerned, we see that each year we long to have the bank audit. We see that it is completed within 1 month and we get the fees for it. But again, the concept is changing as far as the Reserve Bank is concerned also. They are decreasing the number of branches under audit. We don't adapt to the technology very easily. Increasing responsibility of chartered accountants under the statutes. Day in, day out, we read in the newspaper that wherever some scams have taken place or there is irregularity, the first one to be hanged is the chartered accountant. He would have earned a piecemeal amount of fees. However, the responsibility is totally on the chartered accountant to see that the entrepreneur has done his deeds. And changes in statutes and need for our service. As I told you, there are changes in statutes wherein our audits are going away from us, and that has led to the challenges. So, the need of the day is change or you will perish. So, you need to think differently. We have to adapt to the change, and we need to change before the change is thrust upon us. We don't have to wait for the change to be thrust. For example, the easiest example is the COVID, which helped us all to work from home, change our technologies, change the way in which we do our meetings, shifted onto the Zoom and Teams call and Google Meet, etc. And immediately the change was thrust upon us and we changed. So let us think something different and we adopt to the change before the change is thrust upon us. And why do we need to change? The reason why we need to change is the expectation from the society, from us as a professionals. Client is now expecting value addition from us. There is a lot of foreign direct investment coming into India, wherein along with the foreign direct investment, foreign investors are coming into the Indian company, and that is why we need to change. And last but not least, going from a statute-based practice to an advisory practice, which will help us create more value to the clients. If we just go on filing returns, doing all the compliance things, client will not have value as a professional. So I always refer to Mahatma Gandhi, be the change that you wish to change and see in the world. So instead of grumbling about world not being good or our profession, our central council members not doing much about the changes in our profession, the way in which the government looks at our institute, we need to change to different avenues. To improve is to change, to be perfect is to change often. That is what Winston Churchill had also said. The need of the day, therefore, is the vision late Nelson Mandela had rightfully said that education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Our specialized CA education is no different in this potential, and we are no less as a chartered accountants to any other professions in the world. So what can be the road ahead is that adapt to the changing environment, the changes need, the changes expectation, what the client has, dare to dream big and drive hard to achieve it, out of the box thinking, think something different, change in attitude and perspective, that we need to change our attitude towards different ideas, different ways of dealing with people, adopt to new technologies, capacity building and networking to provide one-stop solution. This is not an era of proprietorship firms or single individual firms, because as in the previous session you would have seen that if someone practices GST or income tax, he has to look at various things before he can do. So it is the era of networking and small firms coming together and building a one-stop solutions. And last but not the least, again, education and training becomes the most important part of this journey. So some of the areas where value addition can be created is one is the KPO, being a management consultant, internal audits, risk assessment and mitigation, due diligence, corporate governance, arbitration, insurance advisory, ERP, implementation, business process re-engineering, forensic audit, IDC, cybersecurity audit, or cybersecurity practice, I think, is also a huge area where one can practice as a chartered accountant. As our institute is partners in the nation building, so that will be this above topics would be important, or the areas is very important to national building as well. Nostradamus has said up an Indian event of the information technology, the geography is no longer a constraint. You can provide services right from your office to any part of the world. And that is what my experience says, and I have practiced that. There are few cartoons on the web, which you can see that this guy is talking to his son in the US. He says, no, you cannot outsource your homework to India. And similarly, there is a Santa Claus, which says that the boy is saying, the mother is saying that you order what you want to the Santa who is sitting out in Bangalore, and he will send you the gifts. And this was during the Iraq war, that I wonder when we can get Bush to outsource this war to some other country than the US. So, a lot of talk has been going on in the world regarding outsourcing, for the outsourcing as well as against the outsourcing. But ultimately, India is a superpower in providing services, because that is why KPO has developed in India in a very big way. Our services sector is projected to grow at a very exponential rate in the coming 3 to 5 years. Or for foreign trade policy, there is a special association set up called SCPC, which just helps the service exporters from India, and it is headed by none other than our past president, Shri Sunil Bhai Talati. He is at present the chairman of this association. I won't go into the definition of KPO, because I think everyone of you knows that it is value addition, and I don't say that we as a chartered accountant should go for business process outsourcing, because it is more of repetitive things. I think we are meant to go for knowledge process outsourcing, wherein we can use our brains, we can use our knowledge, the analytical skills which we as a chartered accountant hold, and that will help us expand our services as well as provide value to the clients. So ultimately, KPO, as I told you, is driven by high degree of complexity, insight-driven, reliance on intellectual arbitrage, collaboration between the vendor and the client, and scale up based on skills and domain expertise. For example, I will give you the specific example of tax return preparation of other countries, wherein you require that tax, for example, someone who is knowledge of the Indian taxes can very well be skilled to do the US taxes or the UK taxes or the Australian taxes. So that is the domain expertise which one has. As I told you, India is one of the largest pools of English-speaking population in the world. Apart from India, India has also 65% of its population is below 35. In the Western and Eastern countries, the major problem what they are having is aging population. The accountants are aging, and these accountants don't have a succession plan. They don't have future accountants coming into the professions, and hence this has become a very great opportunity for us as Indians, because we have very young population, we have trained manpower, we have chartered accountants with us, which is helping around to this industry. So this is a geographical distribution of market share of the KPO services, where India is 21%. So India is considered to be the service center of the world as far as the service sector is concerned, and we are leading service provider. So what can we do in finance and account as a chartered accountant, as a consultant? We will be able to do accounting for the clients, which would include bookkeeping, finalization of accounts, preparation of financial statements, IFRS compliance, reconciliations, receivables and payables management, inventory management and control, tax return preparation, even the local tax return preparation, payroll processing, and audit support services. Though we cannot provide audit services off-site, because off-site you won't be able to go to the client place, but at least we can do the back office of that audit support services. Apart from that, we have management information, budgeting, financial analysis, research reports, market research, equity research, economic research, and financial modeling also can be done. Even for that matter, valuations is another area where it can be done by us as chartered accountants. At present, the new trend is the virtual CFO services. The concept provides all the services which are carried out by regular finance department to companies who do not have the scale to afford full-time finance department. I think this is more prominent in startups at present, wherein they are more of technical nature and they don't have any finance persons with him. And by this virtual CFO, we can provide them a support to their financial activities like financing, getting the models right, and advising them on suitable compliances also. And other areas, as I told you, is intellectual property research, then legal services, medical research, training, consultancy, and so on, so forth. So these are the various services which can be given. So ultimately, KPO is the power of partnership between the two organizations, wherein you can associate yourself with the other organization and together you can grow. So ultimately the benefits of KPO would be improve company focus, gain access to world-class capabilities, accelerate re-engineering benefits, share risk, free human resources for other purposes. Ultimately, what can be seen is that the in-house staff can be used for a higher level of compliance and higher level of interaction with the clients, wherein value would be provided to the clients, while the back part of it can be done by the offshore vendor or chartered accountants like us. This would make capital funds available to the organization, reduce control and operating costs, and access to best business practices. So there are three essentials of building up a KPO. They are the infrastructure, the people, and the operations. These are the three most important aspects when one starts to enter into a KPO business. Without infrastructure, you will not be able to provide the confidence level to the client that you will be able to provide the services. Again, people becomes another aspect, that who will carry out the work, what technical skills they have, and how competent they are to execute the work. And third is the operation, the processes, the security, the confidentiality level. All this becomes very essential when you are dealing with international clients. There are a few certificates which can give further confidence to the client, like ISO 27001 for the information security management system, the ISO 9001 for the quality management system, and if you are dealing with the European Union or other European countries, then you have to do the GDPR compliances. when we talk about KPO, we should also look at the challenges which is being faced at present. I think managing cost is the most important challenge at present. I would like to share with you an example. In the year 2000, when we, as Manubhai Shah started with the KPO activities, the major cost was the internet bandwidth at that time. We were paying almost 30 lakh rupees for 256 kbps of lease line. And at that time, staff cost was not at all a cost to us at that time. But now, if you look at today, internet has no longer been a challenge, because if you see, there are ample amount of internet connectivity available at a throwaway price with the coming in of Jio and all. So internet cost is very minor. And at present, the major challenge has been the staff cost, which is increasing, which would almost be about 60% of the total cost, or 60 to 65% of the total cost of any KPO, and which is increasing at an average rate of say 12 to 15% every year. So this is the biggest challenge which is happening in the Indian market, and I think a lot will depend on India as a productive destination or a great destination. If the salary rates were to increase at this rate. Second is the quality and timely delivery of services. That is the most important. If you say you will deliver at 7 o'clock on 7th of August, then it has to be done before that. Otherwise, you will have to inform the client. It cannot be said that મારા માસીના ત્યાં આવું થયું, મારા ફોઈના ત્યાં આવું થયું, એટલે હું ના આપી શકું. The services has to be rendered, because the international client doesn't socialize with you. It has to be done very professionally. Secondly, availability and cultivation of talent. At present, as far as the Ahmedabad scenario goes, we had an attrition rate of anywhere between 8 to 10% before the COVID, which has substantially jumped after the COVID to almost 30 to 40%. So, retaining a talent, cultivating them, and giving them a long-term vision will be very important as far as we as entrepreneur is concerned. The next is security and confidentiality. The client, once you start doing the KPO activities, you will have a lot of confidential data like social security numbers, bank account numbers, credit card numbers coming into your organization. Therefore, it becomes very important for you to see that this data is properly kept, no unauthorized access is possible, and you see that the data is kept confidential. There are various cultural differences, dialect differences. You will have so many holidays in India, they are the same are not in the other countries. So therefore, that cultural differences will need to be adjusted between both the vendors as well as our service provider. And once again, the newer destinations are coming in. Newer destinations like Vietnam, Philippines, Puerto Rico, and African countries. We have a lot of threats from them that they would in future take away our business. So we will have to be extra careful on that aspect as well. So while implementing a KPO, we should see that we do an analysis of what systems we have, what infrastructure we have, and based on that evaluation, vendor selection and implementation should be done in such a way that same is monitored and there is a proper management to it. This was as far as the general idea about the KPO was concerned. let me be specific by telling you our story of the KPO. That if you look at the scenario of early 1999s, wherein Gujarat or Ahmedabad or that matter India, there were not many opportunities for growth of a chartered accountant firm. So at that time, some idea came to us that at that time, a lot of software was being developed by Bangalore for the Silicon Valley, and Bangalore was considered to be the Silicon Valley of India. So we thought that if software can be outsourced to India, why can't accounting be? If you look at a tax return, house property is house property in India, house property in the US, house property in UK or anywhere around the world. So the same thing is with capital gains or for that matter, accounting data as well. Debits are debits, credits are credits. So from that thought, we ventured into the KPO field by contacting few firms in the US. I myself went to the US to take training in one of such accounting firms in the year 2000. At that time, remember that no one was talking about accounting outsourcing. At that time, we had entered into that field. We were very new, we didn't have the idea what was happening and whether we would succeed or not. But fortunately for us, we proved the concept of geography has become a history for us. And we did this out-of-box thinking. We had the courage to go into the unknown, that what this sector would be. There were people who came down to me during that time, chartered accountant who said, "Sir, what will be my career if I am doing US taxes? Whether I will forget the Indian taxes, how it will happen?" So at that time, I just told them that I have ventured into this field, I have taken the risk, even though I had my booming accounting firm which was providing good services in India, then also I have moved in to see to this new venture and how the whole thing can be conceptualized and developed. So that, and today the same people comes to me saying that, "Sir, the career has been made and there is a new path which has been set." So that was the courage to venture into the unknown. We used the technology at the most. We had harnessed the skills. Today, we are having a staff of about 1,500 people in our KPO division. And in this 1,500 staff, I think about 100 of them would be with me for more than 10 years. So we have harnessed the skill, we have developed them, moved them to the next level, promoted them to the next level, and we have changed to the changing times, because we wanted that we should do something out of the box, and we did it. So that is what we were able to break the shackles of the various constraints that the firm faced in the 1990s. Yes?
If someone wants to start a career in this field, from where should he start? And from where can he get a work for this type of?
See, basically,
what should be his approach basically?
Correct. See, first is the infrastructure, as I told you, that it should be adequate infrastructure. At present, there are people who are working from home and carrying out outsourcing KPO services from their home. But that is a one-to-one arrangement with the firms abroad. But I think as far as we have, as an institute, we have various chapters across the world, and I think the starting point should be approaching the office bearers of that chapter and trying to take these opportunities of getting the work. That can be one option of doing it. Because I don't see that sending emails in bulk would make any difference, because people ignore such emails. So ultimately, it is always through a network or through a known person or your colleague who has gone abroad, or through these chapters that you can find, contact people and get the work.
So is it global network associations where we can get in touch with all such professionals who are who really need our services? Like if you can name a few, like where we can visit and can network with those people.
No, basically there are no global associations or something. But see, I tell you frankly that if you send an email directly to somebody, it will either go to their reception or to some low down executive assistant who will just ignore your email. Because I have clients who has been receiving almost 50 to 100 emails every day from various people in India, and they just ignore the email. I know that. Because I have talked with so many managing partners, so many partners in various firms in UK, US, Australia, that they just don't take care of it. When you give them a proper contact or through some network, then only they will take cognizance of your presence.
So one more thing is that application called Upward, a right way to start the outsourcing business of KPO services.
I didn't get it.
There is a website Upwork which provides outsourcing work to various people. You can go there and ask for work. Is that an appropriate approach
To start with,
You can, I think, to show your experience that you have done something, you can do that. And I have not, frankly speaking, I have not looked at that website or I don't know about it. But if they are able to give you work, then it should not be a problem. But keep in mind that there are firms who are charging $3 an hour, and there are firms who are charging $30 an hour. So I think as a chartered accountant, I would suggest that we should not undervalue ourselves.
so what can be the right cost for a chartered accountant who is providing services in this scheme?
See, basically our institute has given minimum scale of fees.
Acha, for this also.
No, there is a provision for accounting services in there. If we take that into account and add our infrastructure cost and other things, then I think we will be able to arrive at a good amount of rate.
Okay.
So I don't think we see, I would say that I will give you an example. There are 45,000 accounting firms in Australia. And I think there are many number of service providers in India. But however, I will tell you that not all firms would have outsourced. There are multiple reasons to it. There are certain social aspects. People think that their labor is being transferred to other countries as well. But there are partners who think that we don't have the capacity. For example, in Australia, they don't have the capacity to service their clients, and therefore they are outsourcing to India. It's not because they want to unemploy their staff and send work across to India. I will give you an example. There was an accounting firm in Australia who had work in progress, who would work on a client file after 6 months. The client would give them work, but the Australian firm would not have the capacity to work on it for 6 months. And then they would start working on that client. And when we got involved, we have reduced that work in progress to hardly 15 days. And this has helped the client to increase their billing as well. Because once the work in progress is for 6 months, they would not get the billing out for 6 months. And they would not get the recovery from client. So therefore, when I reduced them to 15 days, automatically they got the recovery within 1 month. So that helped the client also. And the accounting firm also. Because client got the satisfaction that his work got completed very quickly. And in turn, the accounting firm got their fees early. So it was a win-win situation for everyone. countries we are providing services. We have people, we have teams who have been trained on all these tax laws of all these countries, and they are all Indian chartered accountants. They don't have that country specific degrees to get that knowledge. What we have done is we have a champion firm in each country, and this champion firm trains our people, and we then create our own teams to get the knowledge inside the firm.
Sir, one last question.
Yeah.
Sir, just like you said, you have to network. And is it possible with the provided experience, a set of people and infrastructure right now, we go abroad, meet different firms. Are such firms in other countries willing to meet us, like whenever? Is it possible to plan our strategy in the same way?
Yes, you can. I think, see, once you go there and meet them personally, it will show your willingness to invest and basically your commitment towards the whole project. And ultimately that will help you build a relationship with that person. But I think that should be somewhere at the level of the partner level, not a lower level, because ultimately it is the partners who decide whether you want to outsource or not. I've talked to so many partners around the world, so many staff. I would say we had a lot of discussion day in, day out with the staff of the clients, because ultimately we have to give them the confidence that we are not taking away their jobs. We are just providing value addition to them so that they can move to the next level. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for this wonderful session. Definitely, this is an emergent topic, and sir provided great insight. Thank you. I now request CA Harinder ji to come forward and present memento to our speaker. Thank you, sir. I request CA Nishit Shah to come forward and deliver a formal vote of thanks to our speaker.
Hi all, very good evening. It's indeed a great pleasure to be with my guru, my guide, Shijit sir. I was article under his firm, and since then, since 2003 to 2007, I had been as an article with Manubhain Shah. I still remember in those days, the big question was from where to do our articleship. So, few colleagues, few seniors would always advise, see Nishit, if you want to join Manubhain Shah, then there is only one area over there, and so that is KPO and BPO. I said no, it's a wrong thing. What I have experienced all 360-degree exposure. In fact, KPO as well. Sir gave us the opportunity to work with KPO division, with audit division, tax division, everything. He guided us very well. You should always travel the untraveled path. That is what we have been said. The traditional practice is definitely there, but in this dynamic world, the emerging trends we have to follow, and we have to explore the additional opportunities. The thing which someone would have a fantasy, some chartered accountant would really scare to divert from the traditional practice in 2000 and to start with KPO requires a lot of courage. And definitely, there is a firm who proved everyone wrong. Yes, we should change, otherwise we should perish. Now currently, after almost 22 years, if we look today, then today this trend is more emerging. The outsourcing trend is more emerging. The other countries where they have the huge labor cost in processing the same service can be done in India at almost half the price. Yes, sir? 1/3 price. So definitely there is a win-win situation between both their cost reduction and we'll have another scope of area. So it is definitely a change or perish. So with these words, I propose a hearty vote of thanks to Kshitij Patel sir, who has devoted his time, shared the knowledge with us, guided us towards the new opportunities with regard to KPOs. Please have a huge round of applause for the Kshitij sir. So this is the era definitely where geography will now become a history, and I'm sure many of us from VAPI branch also will have same kind of courage to start something new. That's all from my side.
Thank you, sir. I think what I get from what Ashit sir said and Kshitij sir to change. Right now, I would like to request C. Vinayak Bafna to come forward and give a feedback for the two-day session.
Thank you, Arvind. So we are over with the technical session and 2 days conference. It was a very awesome arrangements, and I would say that basically the topics were a whole mixture. Every person had some topic in mind which they wanted to attend curiously. May it be KPO, blockchain, may it be GST amendments. So it was a very good arrangement from VAPI branch team, and I would say that you have set a new benchmark for upcoming conferences with attendance, I would say 200 plus. That is the first time I think VAPI branch has ever had such a big gathering in any of its events. Plus, I would like to share with every one of you that other conferences which are happening in other cities, what we have observed is they are not able to arrange, or I would say they are not able to gather people for such events. This is one of the maximum audience which we had. However, right now audience is less because this is the last session. However, we have 200 plus registration. So WRC event got cancelled. If you know, monsoon conference.
it got cancelled because they could not, there were not even 30 attendees. So heads off to the VAPI branch team for running 200 members. Also, in points, I would say we all will give you 9 out of 10. Basically, 1 I am keeping for more perfection in future. Thank you, VAPI branch team.
Thank you so much, sir. I now invite CA Sumit Doshi to come forward and give his feedback.
Good evening all. Good evening. Wow. 6th and 7th, Delta AV. This entire hall witness history for the VAPI branch. So have a clap for the VAPI branch. It is under the leadership of CA Chetan Thakkar and his entire team. They have done a wonderful job in making this history. To be very honest, they have worked very hard. You know, having participants 200 plus 250 members is for a small branch like a VAPI branch. Having this achievement, it's a teamwork, it's an effort, it's a dedication by all the team. So congratulations to the entire team. I just like to thank Nishit sir also for his extraordinary efforts in making all the events live on YouTube and creating VAPI branch YouTube channel. So have a big clap for Nishit sir. For MOC, Irving, she did MOC for right from inception till date. So have a wonderful clap for her. We should appreciate the effort that she, for the first time, she did the MOC and she did it very well. Conducting this RRC, national RRC, bringing all the dignitaries, you can say the Ministry of Finance, Kanubai Desai, the leading people, all CCM, RCM, it's an effort of Chetan Bhai and all the past chairmen to bring them here on this platform and have the great RRC. So have a wonderful clap for them. Thank you so much. That's it.
Thank you so much, sir, for this energetic feedback. I now request CA Jayaprakash Shetya sir to come forward and give his feedback.
Good evening, friends. The job done by Vinayak and Sumit and the energy level shown by Sumit itself shows how good this entire 2-day seminar was. As a founder chairman of this particular branch, it was always a dream that all the members should get the basic facilities within VAPI. It is very satisfying today to see that Chetan and his team were able to conduct a national conference, a refresher course, which when our branch does not have more than 500 members and to have more than 250 on the board itself is a very, very good job. Chetan, your team, entire team, as well as all the people who have backed it from the front and as a team, I congratulate you all and wish you further success. Thank you.
Thank you, James. This event was successful and one of the major credit goes to the management of Delton. I now request CA Chetan Thakkar sir to come forward and present a memento to the General Manager of the Delton, Ganesh ji. Sir, please come forward. Let's have a big round of claps for them. Thank you so much. I now request CA Kajol Shah to come forward and deliver vote of thanks for this session.
Respected Speaker, Honorable Chairman, and all the lovely audience present here. It's a privilege to being awarded to present formal vote of thanks for the event. Being in such a professional field where amendment and updates arises every now and then, it's not just our duty but also a necessity to get updated with the changes. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. In this 2-day session, we have tried to cover all the variety of topics which usually are left untouched. I hope that every one of us has made the most out of it. Well, no duty is more important than that of returning. Therefore, I must mention our deep sense of appreciation towards all the speakers for sharing their valuable knowledge with us. I further express my gratitude towards audience for being so patient and listening to every speaker and manage every technical glitches with us. I extend vote of thanks to all those who have worked hard for making this event a successful one. I would like to take opportunity to appreciate the whole team of VAPI branch for their spirit, dedication and great efforts. I would also like to express our gratitude towards RRC committee members, which includes CA Chirag Shah, CA Vishal Bhatt, CA Dilip Prajapati, CA Vinayak Bafna, CA Piyush Mehta, CA Priyal Dikshit, CA Kiran Shah, CA Janish Chauhanji, CA Dhaval Manushali, and CA Jinang Shah. Last but not the least, I am grateful for the valuable sponsorship received from our sponsors, Sonorous, Pramukh, and Merit Life Science Private Limited. Also, big thank you to Ganesh ji and management of Delton for wonderful ambience, delicious food, and amazing hospitality. Thank you.